Hi, and welcome to this video series. This is the third video in this guide for making a factory layout in virtual reality with the help of Unreal Engine. The plan for this video is to showcase the functions in this project and how you interact with them in VR. Here you can also see the timestamps for the different parts of the video. Now that you are in the normal viewport of Unreal Engine, you can simulate or play the game through VR by pressing this play button here. If the play button does not have these glasses next to them, you have to press these three dots here and then press VR Preview, and the player will then possess the VRPawn that's placed in the scene. You will also get a window pop up on the monitor that shows the VR goggles point of view. If this doesn't work, it might be because Steam VR isn't working properly or the headset is not set up correctly. Also make sure the VRPawn is in the scene. We can now close the VR Preview by pressing the Escape button. It's time to learn a little bit about the different controls and what to press to navigate in the scene in VR. I'm going to show you first, and then you can pause the video and explore a little bit by yourself in VR. We start again by pressing the VR Preview button. I will now put on the VR headset with the controllers, and as you can see, there is an instructional page about the basic interactions in VR. Let me just close it by pointing the laser on the close button and pressing with my index finger. We can move our head to look around and also teleport in the space by pressing and holding down the top of the right trackpad. This brings up the teleport visualizer. When releasing the button, you will teleport to wherever the blue circle is. To open the pause menu, click the button above the trackpad. Here you can see a bunch of different options. To open the build menu, click build mode. Again with your index finger. You will now see the build menu pop up on your other hand. To interact with it, you need to use the trackpad on the left controller, both to move and to click on it to select the different options. If you want to select a machine, you do it by pointing with the red laser and clicking with the index finger on the left controller. The selected machine is now highlighted, and you can move it by holding the right index finger button and moving the hand around. To rotate the selected machine, you need to hold both index fingers at the same time and rotating the left controller. Okay, now we can open the pause menu again by pressing the button above the touchpad. Here you can find the instructions in case you forget when you try it out yourself. Let's exit by pressing the exit game button so you can give it a go for yourself. You can now pause the video and start your own VR preview and explore for a bit. The menus that are in the program are all built through widget blueprints, which means that every submenu that you see is a separate blueprint. These blueprints can all be found under Content. Everything is here: Blueprints, Menu, Widgets. These interact with each other through widget switchers that you program to tell which menu blueprint should be shown. In the menu blueprints, you call on the switcher and tell it which widget to show. We will not create new menus, but if you do, this is a good place to put them. Now comes the big part of the video, which is blueprints. We have already talked a little bit about blueprints for the menus. Therefore, we are going to dive into what happens when you press every button and then go through almost every blueprint inside the project. We have separated them by where you can access them. So pause menu first and then build menu. If you feel like you already know what the functions do and how to interact with them, you can skip this part and head on over to the next video. Let's open the VR game here again and click the button for the pause menu. As you can see, we have a bunch of different buttons you can press. When pressed, these will call for a function to be activated, deactivated, or to switch to another menu. For this one, we can just start from the bottom and work our way up. So the exit game button just exits VR, and you return back to the normal Unreal Engine viewport. Pretty straightforward. Clear level removes all objects you have put into this level but leaves your base factory and lighting intact. Instructional videos opens another menu with a bunch of useful instructional videos and information in case you become uncertain in VR. Environment settings have all the simulation settings and the measuring tool. All of the simulations will have separate videos addressing how they work and how to apply them on your specific factory layout. The measuring tool works like this. You choose it and then point where you want to measure from. Click with the index finger and then aim and click where you want to measure to. Very simple and easy to use. Back to the pause menu. Here is the Save and Load button, which opens this other window where you save or load different layouts. It's great if you want to save a couple of layouts that you like. This button here is to open a top view, which will then spawn on your hand. This is very useful to get a good overview of the layout you are creating. When you add your own factory later on, the settings for this camera will be explained more in depth. For the last two buttons, we have visual mode, which basically locks you into showing mode, and you can't edit the layout by mistake, which is great for when you want others that are new to the program try it out in VR. And then we have build mode. This button will spawn a menu on your hand with a little different approach to how it works. Now we have the build menu here, and as you can see, we no longer have the laser to navigate in the menu. Instead, you use the trackpad, both to move this cursor and to click in the menu. We also have a new red laser with which you can select objects, like your machines. To do so, simply point the laser at the machine and click with your index finger. By doing this, the selected machine becomes highlighted, and some other buttons become available in the build menu. Once selected, we can now move it around by holding down the right index finger trigger and moving the controller. If you also hold the left index finger trigger, you can rotate the machine like this. The buttons on the build menu are the undo button, the object catalog, the movement settings, and this button here for duplicating, switching and deleting objects. Important to know is that these functions only work when an object is selected. The other three work without selecting an object. Also, remember that when you are in VR, you can always go to the instructions if you forget how to interact with something. Let's exit VR here again. All of the blueprints for these functionalities are integrated here in the VRPawn and have been programmed to different buttons on the controller. If you don't have HTC Vive, this is where you would need to change what starts the events in all the blueprints to make it work for your hardware. We will not go into how each blueprint is built, but all of the blueprints are here if you're interested in how they are built. That's all for this video. In the next video, we'll explain how to create your own level and import your own factory. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one.